to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks for coming to the meeting. Here. The executive session was held from 7 until 8 after the November 13th meeting for personnel matters. I have a motion to approve the agenda, and you got a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the November 13th, 2025 regular meeting? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Motion to approve the minutes of the November 18th, 2025 budget meeting.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, we're gonna start with public comment on agenda items first, and then we're gonna go row by row. So, anything on the first row?
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
On old business, on the second bullet, since that gentleman did his talk last meeting, did they readjust their bid?
We can explain now, or you wanna explain it then? So, what happens is, Jax is one we went with, because of they were the lowest bidder. They did not meet the criteria of the bid that everybody else has to conform to, so therefore it nullifies their bid essentially.
Okay,
Is that a fair way to explain it?
okay, thank you.
You know what?
So if you read actually the bullet point right above it, it says why Jax is being rejected.
I don't know if this pertains to now or new business. It's regarding the cable companies or whatever that's putting lines through the township.
We'll get down to, that'll be the
Last
second,
end?
that'll be the second, the last one.
Okay, thank you.
You got it. Next one? Sure.
Good evening. I just want to introduce myself to Al DeGenero with JP Mascaro & Sons. I have my colleague Ryan Gibney, our sales manager. Just wanted to say I see the agenda, it speaks for itself. We're delighted to have served the township for the last 15 years. I think our contract was in 2011. And delighted to see that we're the lowest responsible bidder. Appreciate the business and look forward to continuing to serve the township. I'd be happy to answer any questions, but other than that, thank you very much.
And one of the things I do want to commend you guys on, I know we had a little hiccup a couple years back with some of the haulers just being a little reckless and careless out there, and I know that you guys do send a crew out. I usually see a guy in a pickup truck driving around and keeping an eye on things, so we appreciate it.
Great, no problem. Happy to accommodate you.
All right, anybody else in that row? Last row?
I have a comment. So this pertains to the budget, Heidi Fiedler for the record. And it says that you were allocating $450,000 from Melrose. Does the township own any property in Melrose?
We do not own the property. No.
So why would you allocate $450,000
We're
to
trying to
them?
resolve some of the stormwater issues that are over there with the potentially working with getting a property, piece of, portion of that property, or
Portion of what property?
of the property in the frontage along Park Road.
So you're talking about buying property from Folino?
We were having conversations, but we haven't made it since, so it was just kind of a carryover from the conversations that were had before.
Because there's other stormwater issues that involve township-owned property. You're aware of that, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, which includes the Willow Creek.
We're not gonna go
Yeah.
there.
And, no, well, I have the ability to make a public comment. I have the right to do that, and I'm making it right now. Now, I don't care that you've said it before. I'm saying it again, because this is a budget meeting. You're gonna be voting on a budget, and township owns Willow Creek, a section of it that has extreme erosion, extreme sedimentation, and it's creating a lot of stormwater issues. And my point is,
I'm the chair here.
now,
so-
I have the ability, you're cutting me off. I have the ability to make the comment.
You're out of order now.
You're out of order, because this is public comment, and the second point I
We've
have,
had the same public comment
this,
meeting after meeting
it doesn't
after meeting.
matter, this is a budget meeting on this. And the second comment that I have is about the recycling bid. Wasn't a requirement of the recycling bid, that you solicited from all these different vendors, that they provide the bid bond and these other requirements?
Correct. We opened
So when
the
you
bids.
opened the bid, was it missing at that time?
We opened the
That's
seal.
why we had him investigate.
For Jax?
Yes, for Jeff
Yeah, so
specifically.
if you recall, the motion at the last meeting was, they were open at that meeting. So
Right, I was
nobody
here.
reviewed them between then, other than the numbers, other than, we looked at the numbers, and then the board voted on it. But the vote was conditioned on the solicitor's review of the bid documents to confirm confirm that they were in conformance with the requirements.
Well, if
We
you're-
did that after the meeting and found out they were not in conformance with the requirements of the bid package.
So it seems to me that you could determine that at the meeting, because it says here that there was a failure to make the performance guarantee and a failure to include a letter from a surety company willing to issue the performance bond. So it appears to me that when this was opened, that it should have been very obvious that this Jack's bid did not conform to.
Did you see the size of some of those bids? That there were binders.
So you just make sure that they've
So-
got,
So if you want, we could take a half hour, I can look through all those binders, or they can do what they did, it was take action, and if it was in compliance, the action was done.
my point is that when somebody requires a bid bond, that's a separate document and that should be right at the top. And if they
And
don't
Ms.
provide
Fever-
it,
Ms. Fever,
then you
my
just
point
reject
is-
that bid at that
is
point and not go through all of this drama.
Some of these packages are 100 pages
I get
or more
that.
long,
A bid bond is not 100-page long, is it?
but I gotta look through the 100 pages to find that.
It's a requirement that should be right there in the top, along with these other letters. So my point is that this is something that should have been determined right up front and not to go through this and
Ms.
cause
Fiedler, you're
more
wrong.
issues. Well, you know what? I'm sure you've been wrong too.
Thank you for your comment.
Sure.
Charles O'Boy, 284 West Walnut Tree Drive. In reference to this bid, was Jack's disposal garbage, whatever you wanna call it, were they given the opportunity to come up with this documentation prior to going with Mascaro?
No. And so there is certain things that can be missing and you can give them an opportunity to cure. If you look at this item on the agenda, those 4 things are not curable. So even if we gave them an opportunity, and there were some other minor things that if that's all they were, we would have given them an opportunity to fix their bid. What they can't do is not, give you an example, the proof of acceptable disposal methods. They can't get that afterwards because they could go out and find out that they may have bid it that it was $100,000, go out and actually get it, it could be $500,000, and now their bid's completely out of line and they're gonna lose money. You can't give them the opportunity to do that because it's unfair to the other bidders to allow them to potentially underbid something without knowing. So-
Understood.
So no, we didn't, but it's because they were so
I'm asking you to
egregious.
clarify that, and
Yeah.
I understand
Yep.
exactly that, I appreciate it. At that point, would it go back to the secondary bidder, which would be Mascaro here, to tell them and ask them, could they meet the initial bid that was given by Jack before accepting their bid?
No.
There's no way that would be considered.
Next lowest bidder.
Next lowest bidder, and they comply.
Okay. Appreciate,
And
now, look, I appreciate
No,
your
I
answers,
just
and I
say this.
understand.
No, and I understand what you're saying too. In the rest of the world, that's how you would do it. In government, you can't do it. That's the
And
bidding
Yeah,
procedure.
one shot.
Yeah.
that's why I'm asking for the clarification, and I appreciate you, from a legal aspect, clarifying that.
Unfortunately, we were able to keep the recycling fee to each household the same,
Uh,
$100.
I understand, and I thank you for the clarification.
All right, anybody else? Good. All right, Northern Berks Regional Police Report, so, just gonna breeze through it. The calls for service from Maidencreek, there was 357 calls. There was 63 citations given to Maidencreek, 31 traffic warnings in Maidencreek. There was 59 vehicle contacts, there was 4 arrests made, there was 15 crashes, 6 reportable, 8 non-reportable, 1 hit and run. Yeah, it's pretty much just a pretty short meeting. Went through, I'm sure, I don't know if anybody saw or not, the chief has, given his letter of retirement, resignation for, the commission. So we are actively in the middle of reviewing the applications that were provided. And, also there was 2 positions for patrol that were open that we're looking to fill, mostly to fill retirements. 1 retired last spring, and we have another one going out this spring, so we're trying to stay ahead of the curve by doing the application process. That's it for Berks. Pamela, engineering.
Okay, we were looking, Diane and I were looking for the engineer of record for the crossings at Maidencreek. planning commission meeting, it was the day before the planning commission or day of, we were notified that the hydrant testing should be performed because the fire chief had concerns about the water pressure, at the proposed crossings at Maidencreek.
Right.
So there's the hill road connection and then tree tops. Those fire hydrants were to be tested, of course, we're below freezing. It has not been scheduled yet. That's just a dangerous situation, although we're not gonna have testing done. So the planning commission added that as a condition of approval because they didn't wanna delay it. We don't know at this point, nobody knows at this point what it needs, a booster pump, I mean, the tank, anything. So the planning commission discussed that maybe the supervisors should just do the time extension while we wait for the hydrant results. But the planning commission's planning is done, because that would be more of a technical issue that would be up to the engineers and the fire chief and everybody else to resolve. So I'm recommending that you just accept the time extension, which is to February 13th, which would be pending. Hopefully, we would get the fire hydrant test results between that time. If not, if they ask for another extension, I would of course recommend that you folks grant it. And any other inquiry?
That's exactly right.
When you did the, assuming you guys looked over this on the planning commission, so I've been kind of in the loop as far as like their stormwater, that drainage pond in the back there. Is that limited release up there, or what is the?
It's not gonna impact Melrose at all. We talked about that at length. That basin was, we forced the developer actually to complete that basin so that it wouldn't have, for any of the runoff from that property, any trickle-down effect, so that we weren't compounding the Melrose runoff
Currently,
situation.
there's like an overflow. When I walked it, there was like an overflow that was there, and it was overflowing in the corner down by the railroad tracks and going into that additional runoff, so, okay.
So that would be my recommendation to you, board members.
Make a motion to, extend the February 13th, 2026, the crossing in Maidencreek extension for the, investigation of the fire hydrant, issues.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And then the other item I have for discussion, just so that I'm keeping you in the loop, we received what we call a pre-scoping application to PennDOT forms. This is for what's called Gables at Willow Creek. Willow Creek, okay.
Willow Creek.
Willow Creek. But anyway, Gables, they were proposing an entrance off of Schaefer, and then also an interconnection to what we call Damascus Hope. What we discussed at the planning level was potentially connecting to Faith and avoiding Schaefer. We're concerned that the commercial development of the Schaefer Circle and the entrances onto Schaefer, because PennDOT more than likely won't allow them, they'll limit the access, let me put it that way, to 222. So we discussed the bigger picture is maybe the Schaefer Road entrance should be shifted to Faith. So there's still 2 points of access. Am I getting it right that the Maidencreek Road, Maidencreek Plaza, whatever, they own that lot? Okay, so we put it onto Faith instead of Schaefer. We just don't know the impact of the backup that it's gonna be created from the commercial or the zigzags, path of least resistance. So I just wanted to bring that up to you. We had a very, very productive conversation with planning commissioners. And Diane, we were gonna write a letter to Boja. Boja was the one that did the pre-scoping, and say, hey, we're not quite sure Schaefer's the best connection to the township road or the other connection.
Yeah, I had assumed that we were gonna connect to Faith anyway, between the, what is it, 3 houses? There's an area that,
Yes.
2 houses and stuff.
Yes.
I thought that was the plan all along.
Well, not the plan that we received.
Right.
That's why it's going to
That's
depend
what
on
I was
because
surprised
the trip generation is going to be pushed towards Schaefer.
Right.
The interconnection to Hope and Damascus is not really a cut through. Would be very,
That wouldn't be useful.
no, so we discussed the bigger picture too. Is it gonna be like, people flying through that particular subdivision? We don't think that will happen. It's getting them onto Faith where they then can go east or west or up to either circle. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
The interconnect was always planned even years ago.
With Faith.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was necessarily communicated to Boja.
Gotcha.
So that's the other interesting, topic in my report. Otherwise, it's the end of the year, we're closing up a lot of things, so. Dave, thank you I've been honored to serve with you. You know, this is your last
Mhm.
meeting, so
Thank you.
thank you on behalf of SE. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all the people that we may or may not see at the party, on the 19th, did I get it right? And again, it's been a wonderful year serving with you folks, so thank you, and that's all I have for this evening, unless you have any other questions.
And just a point of clarification on the gables, the township didn't give us an official plan submittal. SE has the scoping application, so we don't have anything here in the office for people to come and look at. It's just a PennDOT form.
But it provided some interesting information that is worthwhile for the planning commission to discuss at this point.
I have a question in reference to that. Maybe Diane already answered. You don't actually have any plan exactly what they're gonna do with that property other than commercial along 222 and then residential on the rest?
Correct. It was just a PennDOT form, a scoping application, asking the township how we felt about connections to our roadways. So I don't have.
You have
plans.
no idea what they're doing commercially or residential at this point?
Residential,
Resident group.
58
lots?
single,
But
family
but
homes.
initially, when they did the subdivision plan, they reserved the right to do those semis.
Gotta be
So
single.
right now, it's potentially singles, we still don't know, cause it's
Yeah.
nothing's
So I don't
official.
have an official.
So they had
plan.
actually talked about doing semis instead of singles?
So,
Yes.
They're
Yes,
allowed to, I've talked to them, and the profitability on single-family homes is much greater, and so it's unlikely they are the ones that are going to build, they'll probably market it.
Okay, but if
So-
they wanted to do semis, it would have to come in front of the board to get that instead of singles, correct?
It would be on their plans, semis are allowed, but the lot size is much bigger.
I understand what you're saying about property size.
Yeah, the lot sizes are much bigger than what we currently have in the others, so I.
Right. So preferably, single-family homes is really should be their intention then,
Yes, that's what we're understanding, because there's more profit in that.
okay? Appreciate it, thank you.
Charlie, commercially, there's a list this long, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this, so it's very early.
But
We
the
don't know
front
much.
portion of that on 222, they're talking about doing something commercial,
Right.
correct?
But
Yeah.
no plans yet.
Right, okay, thank you.
all right. Nothing for zoning report. Solicitor, Eric,
Just one thing, if you recall, last month we talked about, I think just the one property owner, Cornerstone, right?
Just one.
That's, I won't say they're not cooperating, but we don't have an agreement with them. To keep on track, we're gonna have to start the, eminent domain proceedings. I did reach out to, Diane, tried to get an appraiser, couldn't get them. I reached out to one, I was trying to get you a quote before this evening. I don't have it yet. But what I'd like to have is an authorization to hire an appraiser, only because I need that before we can kick off the first step. And actually authorize us to start eminent domain proceedings. The first step to that would be how we get a resolution on your next agenda, to allow that to move forward. But that's the action I would like tonight, is really kind of authorize us to sign with an appraiser. I think we'll look at it, if it's in line, we'll stay, but if not, we'll go on and get more quotes, but they're hard to get, they're busy. So the authorization to get an appraiser and start the eminent domain proceedings for that one property.
I'll make that motion.
do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Get her done.
That's all I have.
Is there any update on corners?
No, so what's supposed to happen, down here at the, what's the address?
320?
Yeah, 320 Main, is, if you recall, I went to court in October. The judge gave, them, 30 days to come in and start a payment plan. I did not check in with the court. The judge actually said, don't waste your time coming in, I'll just take care of it next time. So I'll have to follow up with the judge's chambers or look on the docket to see if they issued a bench warrant, but that's what we're supposed to have. Either a payment plan was supposed to be established or a bench warrant was supposed to be issued as soon as the file.
That was awful nice of the judge to save us some money.
Exactly.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
All right, here is, action on fuel tank and related accessory purchase. We're gonna table that for now. You didn't hear anything?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, just, we're finishing up leaf pickup. We did extend another week because of last week we got some snow. So kind of buried all our leaves and pushed us back a little bit. Last Friday, you and I met with DEP for our drop-off site for an inspection and audit, and they were happy with what we've done, and, you know, are more than satisfied with our drop-off site. And the only other thing we got is, if anybody's been over to the park, we did connect, some of the trails and widen some of them, so.
Yeah, you guys have been putting in the work before the cold shuts us down.
Yeah.
You guys have anything else? Thanks, Keith.
Nothing I have.
All right, manager.
Parks, no.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was checking the park. Sorry about that.
Blow us off.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys.
Kind of see through me now, right? I don't really have much. We had a planning meeting for the 250th anniversary celebration. Really didn't get anywhere there. Selecting a date seems to be the tough thing right now. So still waiting to find that out. But it will be revolved around Community Park, probably on a Saturday morning. And we'll be having several events happening during that time. And it looks like we do have some organizations that will help assist us as well from Fleetwood. So more to follow on that. And then the only other thing is we have a Christmas decorating contest going on right now. There's posts out there, sign-ups, stuff like that. So hopefully we get a bunch of people that submit their homes and, you know, get some voting done. I think the submission date is the 20th. So that's everything for parks.
And the fire department is allowing us to tag along with Santa.
Awesome.
That too, yes.
I don't know what the schedule looks like, but the Grinch might make an appearance.
You can jump in with the parks.
Yeah, depends on the weather. Well, we'll see. All right. Manager.
Okay, so, earlier this year, the employees started coming to me about the dental insurance. It wasn't covering them. They were having to submit claims as out of network, so less than half of their dentists were accepting. We asked, Delaware Valley Health Trust to take a look at it. They came up with a proposal from United Concordia. With the increase that we're experiencing in healthcare this year, the price is exactly the same to switch to United Concordia, and all of the dentists that the employees have are in network. So this is a very good decision to move.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no downside to this, so I just need a motion to approve the switch to United Concordia.
We have a motion to switch to Concordia. And is there a time frame that?
We're gonna start January 1.
Okay, for January 1st, 2026.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's all I really have to say, other than we had a few mishaps that are getting run through the insurance company, nothing that we did, things that other people have done, and we've received the first check for the repair of the traffic signal up at Excelsior. We're gonna be getting a quote, that's just a temporary signal up there, we'll be getting a quote a little bit later for a permanent replacement, and the insurance company will also cover that as well.
The insurance company's gonna have a lot to cover.
Exactly.
All right, appreciate it.
You see the truck?
Yeah. All right, old business. So, I need a motion to reject the Jack's Disposal recycling bid for failure to include signed bid bond, failure to include a letter from surety company willing to issue the performance bond, and failure to make a performance guarantee, and failure to provide proof of acceptable disposal methods of recyclables.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so do I now have a motion to award the 26-27 recycling contract to JP Mascaro for $305,952 for 2026 and $314,820 for 2027?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Just before you, just on that one, I did, same thing you did for Jack's, Mascaro, and I reviewed their bid package, and they did comply with everything that was required by our document.
All right, with the motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, so, new business, do I have a motion to adopt resolution 25-2025, setting the real estate tax rate, which is
4.1 mils, 2.6 mils, general purposes, 1 mil, fire, half a mil, ambulance, the same as last year.
nothing's changing. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and I'm gonna ask you again for that too, so. Do I have a motion to adopt resolution 27-2025, setting the site rate fee?
$110 per residential unit, which is a decrease from $133.25.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, do I have a motion to adopt resolution 27-2025, adopting the 2026 budget?
Move.
Do I have a second?
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do I have a motion to advertise for the reorganization meeting for Monday, January 5th, 2026, beginning at 5 PM?
Move.
Do I have a second?
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the bills and accept the treasurer's report as it was presented to us?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And now I need a motion to release $235,000 to Northern Berks EMS for the EMS, from the EMS tax account.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Public comment on non-agenda items. I'm gonna piggyback you anyway, so go ahead.
It basically, I just wanna know what my legal rights are as the homeowner before somebody comes on my property and starts digging everything up, and I go out there like some crazed animal. I just wanna know what they're legally allowed to do. Now, I know there is a 10-foot right of way from the curb onto my property, I understand that.
No,
It's
Is it
26 and a half feet from the center line
from the center line? Yeah.
of the road.
Well, the
Yeah,
plan
you
I
guys
have
know.
when my house was built, it shows 10 feet from the curb in.
Probably very close to it.
It's
yeah.
probably pretty close, because they're 8-foot lanes, so
Yeah,
it may be a little more.
yeah.
I guess what I've been hearing is that there's people, Frontier comes to mind from a friend of my wife's, they came in and did whatever, and then started digging alongside their house to put these lines in without their permission.
So I saw, I do see it on the Facebook.
On the- yeah,
page,
okay.
every now and then, and, so I don't know that particular incident.
Yeah, I'm not
there.
really, just only probably what you read is what I know too.
Let me circle back to that portion.
Okay.
I'm gonna explain the legalities of the easement and the right.
Yeah.
So if it's in the right of way and.
Right, I have, they can do whatever they wanna do,
Yeah.
as long as they restore it to,
Correct. As much,
Basically,
as practically as they can.
the way it was, right.
Exactly. Yep.
okay. And then from that point on, they have to have my permission?
That is the so, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not sure, again, I didn't get to look into it because I just saw it, but that would be if you contacted Frontier and said, I want your service.
Right, right.
So they're gonna come to the easement and then run a line to the house. So
Right.
I don't know what
Okay.
happened there. why.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the whole deal was there either, I only heard bits and pieces of it too.
And for reference for the residents, so Comcast also was in town.
Yeah.
They had a contractor in town from the Williamsport area. They're out of town, right? They're not in Maidencreek at all. They pulled out before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I guess before it got cold.
Yeah, they basically shut down for the winter, and from what I'm hearing, at this point, they aren't allocating any more funds. I think they did what they were going to do in Maidencreek.
Okay,
They didn't cover everybody, because I don't think they did all Lonnie Heights.
yeah, they didn't do us either.
Yeah, so I heard that is the money that Comcast was willing to pay this contractor to do, so they did their task.
And they're done here.
In fact, they're moving to Fleet, but I talked to the,
Oh,
I had a very good relationship with that crew, that the Comcast crew that they hired did really good work for us. So
The rest.
Frontier,
yeah,
is going ham right now. We were told, I think between 3 different municipalities, they have like $8 million worth of fiber they are supposed to get in the ground between, I know it's us, Leesport, and there's another municipality that they said they're pulling fiber in right now. It might have been Muhlenberg. I think cause I've been on this guy pretty hard. In fact, I got to the point where I'm now sending, codes after some of the complaints. Normally, they will jump on issues right away. They have been hitting Service Electric, he just got taken out tonight.
Water
It's
line.
back.
They punched through a water line, or they clipped it, apparently, and I stopped in that night when they were doing it. And apparently, so they call it their missile. and
Yeah,
shoot
it goes
down to the
underground,
ground.
yeah.
Apparently it hit a rock and deflected it straight into the water tee going to the resident's home. They sent one right through Med Ed phase, and, that guy should be playing the lottery, because he's got
Yeah,
really
it was
lucky.
lucky Friday.
Yeah, so that was another 9 o'clock call that I went out to see what was going on, just so, because they restored majority of the residents, but 2 homes. And of course, it was right when weather was changing, things were cold.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put this out there, and I think we'll try to get a number out on our page too. Frontier is supposed to be hanging door hangers on residents' doors, and I heard that they weren't, and I got on their case about it, and they've been pretty good about it. He got one, and so they've been doing it again. Now, I wanna make sure that trend stays as they move road to road to road, and that's how they've been pulling permits. They'll come in, they'll submit for, they're putting in a pile of them, but they're doing road by road by road. And, yeah, they get a little lax on that. I know some residents on Spirit Court and stuff, I don't think got them. So there is a number that goes to the contractor directly. The crews that are out there are subcontractors to the subcontractor.
Right, naturally.
So it's been, even for me, it's been more challenging dealing with this crew. Normally there's, I think, 1 or 2 guys on site that even speak English. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
And, you know, they've been, I'm gonna say they've been pretty responsive to it, because they know frustration wise. We shut them down the other year when they were up in treetops, and, they assured us that that wasn't gonna be a problem again. I'll give them that, it's not to that level.
Right.
They are pulling permits and doing stuff, but they are very haphazard, and I said, in fact, I just had this conversation yesterday with the head guy at this company. I said, you guys need to slow down. I know you got $8 million worth of stuff to get in the ground, that's not our problem, that's not the resident's problem, that's your problem.
Right.
And the problem is they were lifting driveways, they're running their lines too shallow, they're hitting other telecoms, other utilities, and I said, I really don't care, you need to slow down, so.
Yeah,
I
hopefully
drive
they
by.
didn't hit a gas line yet, you know?
It's quite funny when they see the blue truck coming around the corner.
They know what's up, right?
They all scatter to be busy, so.
Well, basically, that's what I wanted to know. And the other question is, there is a phone number that someone, in case something were to happen,
So if they,
rather than call the police out there and cause a big scene, and they got other things to worry about.
and that's what, and they were actually, when I called, because there was a time I was calling this guy almost every day, and he actually got a little attitude, he got a little attitude with me the one day, and I said, I don't know why you're getting that with me. I said, you better be careful right now, we're getting real close to getting those permits pulled. And, he changed his tone a little bit, and, it's been better, but he also made that point where, because I think Christina's been getting some calls at the office here, and he said, that's why we're putting these placards out. I said, well, that's why you need to put them out, because some of these residents didn't get them. And honestly, like Eric said, it came, and it almost looks like an ad, but you flip it over, and the phone number's on the back.
Okay.
So I just said tonight, just to try to, because I kind of thought this might come up today. I think we need to put the phone number out there, and I'll make sure I make a post on your page also, saying that, you know, going forward, if there's any issues, please make sure to reach out and call
Yeah,
them.
and they're responsible for the damage,
That's
correct?
correct, they are insured, and we have set up with them, they will be out, in the spring, they know they can't, their grass seed's not gonna grow right now.
Well, oh, yeah, absolutely,
So,
sure.
they've already made a point of it, that they will be back out in the spring. Same thing with the Comcast guy, in fact, I just saw him here, it was funny, I was sitting at the traffic light here, I stopped in here yesterday, right, you guys, yeah. So yesterday I was heading back home, he was next to me in his truck, and he hasn't been down here for a few weeks now, but he does, that crew has been very good about taking care of things, so. Now if we get these guys on board, get with the program here, we'll be all right.
And basically, I just wanted to be a little educated before everything kind of happened, because we didn't deal with it yet in our development.
One thing I wanna make sure the public's aware of is how wide you say your straightaway is?
I-
26.
26.
Not all roads are the same, so some roads have bigger,
Right.
smaller ones, and sometimes the center line of the easement isn't the center line of the road, so
Right.
it'll be more on one side than the other, so you really need to look at where the easement is.
The only reason I said what I said is I have the
You-
original
you know,
printout
yeah.
of when the house was
Yeah,
built, and
yeah.
it says 10 foot.
Yeah.
Christ, that changes, you know, who knows from when to when, you know, just so I know where we are and what, you know, before they come digging alongside my house, I just wanted to make
You
sure.
have a box in your, you have like,
Yeah, we have, our property has the electric box
Yeah.
and the cable tower there
So-
right now.
it's kind of hit or miss too, because there's some med ed boxes, there's transformers that I think are outside the right of way in older sections of town. If you see them put a box that's beyond that,
Yeah,
it's most likely out of the right of way. So at that point, I'd either stop the crew, question them, call the
Okay.
office here.
yeah,
They're pretty good about it, they know, but they can't be directly in front of it either, so we had some residents say, well, why can't you put it right in front? Well, that's a med ed thing.
Yeah,
Med ed
right,
trumps-
well, like the
med ed
cables
trumps
and stuff
everybody,
like
so,
that.
Ours, they put one in my house.
yeah,
And it's next to it.
yeah.
yeah, because they, right now, the service electric tower
Yeah.
is maybe about, I don't know, 2 feet from behind the electric.
And that's a requirement, I was just gonna say, it's 2 feet, I believe.
Yeah, I think it is, I didn't measure it, but
Yeah,
it
it's
looks
2 feet on
about
the
2,
sides and I
3
think
feet.
5 feet in front, so you gotta be out of the way. Now, like if you go and plant a bush in there,
Yeah, right,
probably gonna be on,
yeah.
so.
So they are able to put it next to the
They
electric
should be
box?
most likely, and they're, as long as their head guy, and he is, they do have a guy on, so the contractor that's doing the actual work, I believe it's Rodriguez something or other, but Rodriguez is on,
Yeah.
you know, that's what they go by. They do have a guy on, that he bounces around from crew to crew that are in town here, he's here. He speaks English, he's one of the guys I talk to.
Okay.
The other guy works for CI Services, now he bounces around from us to Leesport to wherever. As of yesterday, I'm trying to get them to put one of those guys like that here full-time, cause that's what the Comcast crew had here, they had a high-up guy that was here all the time.
All the time.
And that made life super easy for me, I just call him and he'd take care of it. But yeah, so anyhow, if you see them, you know, specifically, I'd ask them, even if they don't speak English.
Right.
I'd like to, before you do any more work here, I wanna talk to the guy in charge.
Right.
And hopefully that guy will stop in and.
Yeah, that's like I said, now that I know what's going on, rather than go out there screaming and hollering and getting nowhere fast, which,
I don't see you screaming.
not much, but every once in a while.
I don't, so they did do a one call for you already?
No, they haven't been in our neighborhood yet,
Yeah,
but the person that Frontier, which you've seen on Facebook probably, is a close friend of my wife's, and she was asking me questions, and I said, well, I don't know who to contact or what to do, and they haven't gotten to us yet, and
there's something weird about limestone.
I just
I
want to.
don't know that I saw permits or plans for your development, because technically you have a Fleetwood address.
That is correct.
So I don't know if that's getting pulled in on,
There, that end,
I
yeah,
don't know, cause I mean, they gotta let us know they're in town, but
We just paved it, so we told them they'd owe us $1 million.
That's correct.
That was it.
yeah, cause I know if you put it like in a GPS, it won't come up until you put the Fleetwood address.
Right. And there is a moratorium on roads that are recently paved. There's a stiff fine if they go into there. If they go in there and bust open a road that they're not supposed to be, if it was freshly paved, it's $1 million fine.
Okay.
So,
Can we have your name and address?
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, it's Richard Deming, and it's 112 Southview Road.
Thank you.
Sorry, I don't really do that. You start talking as I do,
I know.
everybody do what he wants.
What is school is going?
I don't know if that's good or bad.
I felt like I should know it.
No, that's, and
That's why I didn't jump in.
I just have one other question, and I know we had talked a year or so ago about a swale up there in the
Yep.
park, is that still
It's-
ongoing,
yes.
are you guys still looking at that?
Yeah, we're looking at filling in that, the walkway there where it goes
Yeah.
down. You guys are gonna fill that in. Well, I think we're gonna double up that, inlet there.
Oh, okay,
So it
cool,
can grab more water, and then the overflow, we're trying to divert it, well, we're gonna divert it down into the ball field so that it would flow into the creek.
great.
So it just is, it's an ongoing.
Yeah, it's been
thing.
pretty good, we haven't had anything, you know, really, yeah.
You just jinxed us.
No, everything's been pretty good. I still send the road crew out usually, you know, if we know there's a big storm coming, they go and check, make sure the tree's not in the creek, yada, yada. But that is actually on our maintenance plan. Even in the spring, they go around, check the creeks and make sure we don't have any blockages and stuff like that. So,
Outstanding, thank you very much.
you go. All right,
No, I'm good.
next row.
Are you putting the gate up in the park?
We Yeah, I think that's gonna be a spring thing.
to stop.
Yeah, we apparently have people that drive up.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
but
keep
I don't
getting
even know how the rock there
messages.
now.
Well, they put the rocks back,
Yeah,
but
put
I'd
the
like to
rock
put
there,
it
they ain't gonna do it now.
I'd like to get what the state park has, those type gates, put something like that in there.
Yeah,
Cause it still would be nice to be able to open that to get an ambulance in there if we had to.
I just keep getting messages from a resident that the
Oh,
cars
yeah.
are driving through.
They were working on doing the excavating for the, walking trail and somebody drove up through and apparently does it a couple times a week.
Yeah,
I guess he just thinks it's an
it's a
accident,
shortcut.
Uh-huh.
so, yeah. Plus we got them on camera, we got security cameras.
Yeah. It's on the resident's camera too, and they
Yeah.
catch it and then they send it to me and.
I have a feeling I know who it is.
And they
It used to be me, now you took over that duty.
Yeah, it's my job now.
I get the same messages.
You get them too?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm glad we're all in the circle.
Sounds
I
good. Anything else?
figured
Ira?
I'd ask.
Good, good. Last round?
Charles Ward, 284 West Walnut Tree Drive. This is in reference to last meeting with the noise ordinance.
Mhm.
My understanding is District Justice Brian Stam seems like that he doesn't want to enforce our noise ordinance. With that being said, why isn't the township going and filing a complaint with the president judicial system in Berks County? I believe Johnson is her name, and asking her to find out why a district justice will not enforce our township ordinance instead of letting them off the hook, enforcing it, because it's getting out of control there. And it's been out of control. I know we've talked about this. But if the
It was
district justice doesn't want to enforce it, then he needs to be held accountable.
It was actually brought up, we discussed it at the last meeting,
Last police meeting.
yeah, last police meeting, and, so we submitted the documents to our chief, and then it got forwarded on to Brian, the letter we got from PennDOT, because initially, we got a plan from PennDOT that said where we had to put the signs, what we had to do.
Right, we went all through
Yeah,
that.
and then it said we weren't in compliance, so then we made sure we were in compliance.
Right.
And then we got a letter saying that all was good, which got passed on. So I think, you have anything else?
The only thing the officers were doing is, they were making the stops.
Right, but it was being rejected from the DJ.
Right, they had, the DJ said that he felt that the big brake was a safety issue on the truck. Now, they're not on every truck,
No.
and you know as well as I do, you drove, you don't need a Jake brake on a truck to be able to stop, that's why they put brakes on them.
Jake brakes were an after factor of the brake system.
Right, so the Jake brakes, and the ones you're hearing aren't the regular Jake brakes. These are the guys that are taking their exhaust system and modifying them so that they can hear the and that was the problem. So now they can look at it as an inspection code violation, okay? Because they're in violation of Pennsylvania state inspection law, whether they're from Pennsylvania or not. Our inspection laws require all vehicles to meet
Right.
our
Right,
standards.
I understand what you're saying.
So that's what they're doing at this
But
point.
now the district justice isn't enforcing the noise ordinance. As a township, you can go to president and justice in our county and ask her, submit a complaint to her to look into him.
The chief went to the judge, and he said he will look at it on a case-by-case basis. So he's not saying he's gonna throw them all out, but he's gonna look at it on a case-by-case basis, according to what we were told
Yeah.
at the meeting Monday.
Okay, that's what you were told. But
Yes.
if it continues and he doesn't want to do it,
Right,
this township has other means to push it to where he can be held accountable by the court system of the county,
right.
okay? And that's what I'm saying, that maybe you should keep in mind to look into the future.
Yeah, they're answerable to the president judge.
Yeah, and just so you guys are aware, it hasn't been forgotten, that's why it was brought
Oh,
up.
I didn't say it was forgotten,
No,
because
yeah.
I've also looked into it from an attorney aspect. I can actually file a complaint with the president and
Sure.
judge.
Yep.
All right, but prior to that, the township should be doing that, their due diligence. If not, and again, if that's what he wants to do, well, then he needs to be held accountable. That's all. Anyway, and as far as Comcast and the Western Frontier, so we're gonna have 3 different internet services eventually in the township?
that's,
if they don't continually hit med ed, and then is that what put the lights out the other night?
that's, yeah,
They
that's,
charge out of that.
they came in, Comcast is the first one that came into us a couple years back.
Yeah, I remember the whole debacle.
Yeah, and then.
Now you got Frontier coming in.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep,
Could be
it's
interesting.
been fun to keep track of it.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I have a follow-up question about the noise ordinance. So are the Northern Berks police officers actually citing truck drivers for violating the noise ordinance?
Not for violating the noise ordinance, they're not, because to violate the noise ordinance, they would need to have some sort of a device to tell them what the noise is, and they don't have that.
Right, but they're not supposed to use their engine brake when they're traveling in certain sections of 222, and that's posted, so I think that's the reason for enforcement, is that they have the ability to cite truck drivers for using their engine brake on certain parts of 222 that are
Right.
posted. So are they not doing that?
They have officers, and we were told they have officers that spend about 2 hours.
But if I could just, the answer to the question, it's not the noise ordinance they're violating, it's the Jake
Jake
brake
brake
ordinance.
ordinance.
So you asked if they're enforcing the noise ordinance, it's not that, they can enforce the Jake brake ordinance.
Yes.
All right, so the Jake brake, well, it's an engine brake, because Jake brake is a trademark name, so
Yeah,
you're
it's just not a noise ordinance. It's
Well,
just-
no, I'm making the distinction between Jake brake and engine brake. Engine brake is the correct legal term for enforcement of this ordinance.
So I don't know that we can go any farther down the road that, but just, they are being, I'm gonna say, cited for other things, and as a result of.
So are you saying they're not
There
being
are
cited for
officers
using
that are-
their engine brake on 222 in some of those
No, they are, but
sections?
they're utilizing their other, abilities of violations as.
And there are officers that spend about 2 hours a night just watching for the ordinance violators that are using their engine brakes.
And are they being cited when they do violate the engine brake ordinance?
Well, they're being cited in some cases, but the officers have a right to make a decision whether they're gonna give a citation or give a warning.
So are they doing warnings or actual citations, do you know?
I can't answer that honestly because they don't.
It
track
doesn't
that
get
way.
specified that way.
Well, actually, they should be able to track that on their system, whether,
They
with
don't
the
break-
overall numbers,
they
if
don't break
anybody's
it out
giving a
because of
warning, or if
budget.
anybody's actually giving a citation
Well,
for violating the engine
What
ordinance,
they do
engine
is
brake
they break
ordinance.
it down, the amount of violations, like, traffic warnings, there were 31 issued in Maidencreek. In traffic citations, there were 63 issued. They don't break it down any further.
I'm not
than
saying on that
code
report, I'm
says.
saying they have the ability back in the office at Northern Berks to
But
give
they
you that
don't.
information.
It's not, it's not.
Cody
we
won't
discussed
break
that.
it down any further than
Yeah.
that.
Okay, because I've been told they can do that otherwise, and there's actually been reports given
Like
to
going
people,
through
whether,
the-
about the engine brake ordinance, and whether that's truck drivers are being given warnings or they're getting citations, because if they're only given a warning, then it never gets to the district justice for
Right.
further enforcement. If they're given a citation and that truck driver contests it, then it's gonna wind up in front of the district justice, and then
So
the
we-
district justice will have the ability to completely enforce it or throw it out. Because there's a lot of engine brake noise coming off of 222, and that's based what I can hear, and for people that live much closer, it has to be horrendous when it's this cold and the noise really travels. So that's my question, so can you get that information?
No. We had extensive conversations about this with the attorney, the solicitor, and they don't get into the specifics of it because of, they have to get it to the judge anyway, so we were advised that, that's why I'm saying in a roundabout way, they're getting cited, but they're using their other ways of alternatives of citing, basically, to get it before the judge.
So you're saying they're being cited for creating excessive noise?
There
On
are
222.
violations
No, they
of
might
the code.
brake travel or
Yeah,
tires that
without me
are
getting down
bald.
the rabbit hole here.
No, I understand other
Violations
violations
of
of that, that's not my
Yeah.
question, that's not the question at all.
Okay, well, I
My
can't-
question is
this
relating to excessive noise and that of all the complaints of people because of the issue of engine brakes. I'm not talking about bald tires and not having brakes or anything like that, that's a whole separate
What I'm
thing.
trying to explain, you're missing that part of it, is, they're getting more than one violation, right? So that's what, they get stopped, and then the officer uses his other alternatives to cite the guy. So without going down the legal, oh, you stopped me if I'm going too far with
I
it,
think
so
that-
we were advised not to.
You're
go down
also
that road.
asking things that, it's not our data, so if you want additional
True.
data, you have to go to the police committee.
Right.
So, to get it from them, so you can't.
No,
ask
I
us to get it
understand,
from them.
that's my, and I
You can't go
actually
to
said
them.
that earlier, that it's data that's at their office, not at this office, I understand that. But with their systems, I've been told that they have the ability to get that information on how many citations or warnings have been given to truck drivers for violating the engine brake ordinance.
It'd probably have to be done manually.
Yeah.
And they're not
Well,
gonna say,
however they
okay,
do-
there were 50 violations. 3 people rolled through a stop sign, 3 people didn't turn, so they don't have the time or resources to break down every little ticket violation.
That's not the, that's not the point. The point of it is that it's under the right to know laws of Pennsylvania. We have the ability to get that information. And this township is part of the Northern Berks Police Commission. As you know, we pay a lot of money every year for the police coverage, and this is one of the issues there. So they do have that ability to do it. How they get the
But under the
information,
right
I
to
don't
know
know, but they
law-
do have the ability to get it.
Under the right to know law, they don't have to establish a specific following so that they can track this hat. And they don't have to do that. That's the whole thing. Because if it's gonna cost them to go to Cody and say, listen, we wanna break this down by each number of citations, it doesn't do that. Cody will break down the citations to traffic, non-traffic, criminal arrest. And that's how they work. That they can give you, and they can give you a report on that, but they aren't gonna be able to tell you who was cited, because that's information that they can't.
I'm not
release.
asking who was cited.
Right.
It's overall numbers, that's
Well,
all.
that's what we have. We have overall numbers, how many tickets were issued, but
No,
they
no, no.
just don't tell us for which violation. And
Okay.
they can't do that based on, well, because, they can if they wanna sit down and go through it manually, one by one citation.
We're talking one stretch of road here, and maybe one officer a couple times a week, that's it. It's not that complicated.
I have a follow-up to that, and I just need some clarity. I'm an officer, I pull the truck over, I'm gonna cite him for the Jake brake. And now, again, there's a difference between the Jake brake and a noise ordinance, understood. He writes down that Jake brake, and what you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, other than the Jake brake, he may find other citations he can write on the vehicle,
Right.
all right? In doing that, when he writes that ticket out, he's going to state about the Jake brake and other violations, but yet, what you're saying is, they're not documenting it that way, they just send it back to the township as quote a citation.
Right. The Jake brake would be a non-traffic citation under an ordinance.
Correct, I understand that, Paul, but
Okay.
if they're only giving you the information as a citation,
Right.
even though he may have written on the ticket, Jake brake / lights out, headlights, whatever,
Right.
but they just send it to you as a citation, so you actually have no way of knowing.
We have, yeah, you're right.
No, that's one.
We have citations and traffic warnings and
Right.
vehicle contact.
Right, no,
That's what we have.
I wanna clarify that, because they're giving you just this broadly, when in
Yes.
fact, even though they might have it on a ticket laid out, which then if you went for a right to know, they should be able to give you that ticket information.
Or would they come back and say, information not available?
I don't know that they can go that far down the rabbit hole, I don't know.
Yeah, they can.
I mean, let me ask from a legal
Cody.
perspective,
Yeah,
from a legal perspective, when they write the ticket, I mean, unfortunately, I haven't had tickets in many years, so I'm good. But when did get them, it would be tail lights, so on, so on, so on, and that, when I went in front of a district justice, it would be stating that.
Right.
But they're not giving you that information.
No, we don't get that. And Cody doesn't break it down like that. They break it down on a basic charge and the fact of what the charge would be. But it doesn't break it down when it gives you a report.
Even if it goes to the district justice, he's not breaking it down? If
No,
it
the
has,
citation goes to
the citation does, though, right, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
that goes to the district
I don't know
justice.
if they'd be open to.
They're not
It's got
open.
all kind of private information.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That would be redacted off of that.
and that's what our attorney's saying too, and then because of how, you're innocent until proven guilty, so if they fight it, it goes to the judge, and I don't know that is.
And then there's a 30-day appeal period after.
Yeah, but like, you would have to do a right to know to the judge, and that doesn't, you can't do a right to know to the judge.
Right, well, that's basically where I'm going, so even though you send it to the police station, Either that, you'd have to be sitting at that hearing to see what the violations
That's
would be.
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Good questions.
I try once in a while.
It's not a perfect system.
And you're preaching to the choir.
All right, anything else in the back room? Well, I have something. So tonight's Dave's last meeting as a township supervisor, and I personally wanna thank you for your time and knowledge and assistance, and, you know, we've had a good run, and I appreciate it, learned a lot from you, and you're not going anywhere, so I'm not too
No,
worried about it,
not
so.
moving out of the country.
So we wanna present you with a certificate from PSATs. I'll read it. It says, on behalf of the Pennsylvania State Association of Township Supervisors, we extend our warmest congratulations and deepest gratitude for your dedicated years of service to your township. Your commitment to the public service has been invaluable. Please accept the enclosed certificate as a small but heartfelt token of our sincere appreciation for your tireless efforts. With dedicated individuals like you, having served in Pennsylvania's local government, we can rest assured that the quality of township life will continue to survive and thrive as innovation meets tradition. We are immensely proud of our township officials and staff. We especially recognize those of you who have consistently served the community year after year. We commend you for a job exceptionally well done. The residents of your township are fortunate to have benefited from your leadership and can take great pride in all that you have accomplished on their behalf. We recognize the sacrifices and hard work that come along with serving the public, and your unwavering commitment to sets a high standard for all who follow. All of our very best to you in your future endeavors. Sincerely, David Sengo, Executive Director of PSATs. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hold up.
And I wanna thank everybody here, the community is family. We're friends, we're neighbors, we're relatives, we're a lot of different things. And my whole idea of coming in was to help out wherever I could. And I'm hoping I did a good enough job with that. There are times that I maybe wasn't on the right track. I've had a lot of help putting me on that right track, and I've had mentors that have helped me along the way. And I have over 50 years in government with my work and everything else. As you all know, I've been in law enforcement for 42 years, 23 as a chief, but I was a firefighter, so I understand Danny's battle as well. I ran an ambulance and paramedic unit, emergency management. I did a lot of that. But when I came to the township, it was, I think everybody should take a step in and do what they need to do to help, because, they say it takes a village to raise a child, but we're all kids, and it takes a village to raise us all. And I've had arguments with some people, I've had arguments with some supervisors, and, we always seem to have been able to muddle through everything here. And Maidencreek's a great township. It was here long before I got here to this earth, and it's gonna be here long after. And it takes everybody, it takes every one of you. Danny's out there busting his chops all the time for free. And his guys are doing the same thing, and girls. And the fire companies, the ambulance, the police, I respect every one of them, but I respect every one of you as well, because you're the ones that can make it happen too. Now sure, sometimes it's by force and tax dollars, but after we look at that, it's also because we know what we need, and it's an understanding. But I wanna thank you all for being there, and some of you have guided my thoughts in different ways, and some of you, have helped me to understand a lot of things better. Because I'm just as human as every one of you, so I can make wrong decisions as well as I can make some right decisions. So thank you all for your help, and I appreciate the opportunity that you gave me. And you elected me twice, and I feel that 2 terms is plenty for anybody, and it's time for somebody else to step up, and I'll be here yet. If anybody needs me, that's great. I'm more than willing to help out wherever I can. I wish I could say I could help the fire service, but my legs hardly get me in and out the door right now, so, you know, those days I think are long gone, but thank you all, and I appreciate the efforts. These guys are coming up, and I know you're not gonna have any issues going through there. I feel my replacement is gonna be tremendous at what she does. And there are other people that are in the shadows that are looking to take their place somewhere down the road as well. And you know something, when the time comes, they'll all be here. And we're gonna move this township forward. We're gonna grow, I know we're gonna grow, maybe against our better judgment, but you know, from the time I've lived here, I've seen it grow too, and it's grown quite a bit. I mean, I've watched a lot of homes come in here, and there's gonna be a lot more. But, we're not all here forever, so people that are here go through that transition as they go through life, and we'll see that. I wish you all the best, and thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Dave for his service and his friendship. 6 years ago, when he was elected, I actually supported his opponent. And I went after Dave, hard to believe, I went after Dave a bit. And when it was over and he was easily elected, I sent him a message saying, look, you know, I apologize if I, you know, went after you a bit, but, you know, that's politics. And his response was, Eric, I hold no grudges. You were looking out for the township. You just gave me a pat on the back, and I've learned so much from him. And today, he's absolutely one of my best friends. And the years we have left, we will be. He's got 3 years on me. But thank you, Dave, for your friendship and guidance.
Thank you.
Very much appreciated.
And happy birthday today.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
All right,
No,
before
no
we-
cake? You went through all that and you got no cake?
No, a certificate.
Oh, is that? Write him a check and get a cake.
And, I think on behalf of the whole board here, we wish everybody happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and enjoy your time with your families, so.
And Happy New Year.
That being said, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Amen.
Second.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Remember.